in a dramatic fashion will be, there he is, Carlos Famous Hernandez, who has the glare going pretty strong right now. Right behind him, a legendary manager and trainer in his own right, Jackie McCoy. Carlos Famous Hernandez coming down the aisle. You'd never know. Of course, that feature, I think, gave you some idea. And Doug and Fernando, we visited with him yesterday. What a polite kid this is. And a kid really is feet are firmly planted on the ground.
A lot of charisma. And he's the most exciting fighter to come out of Bellflower, of course, since the immortal Jerry Quarry.
He wants to be the first, like you said, Salvadorian to win a world title. They had some excellent fighters down there, but never a world champion. He claims, or he says, that with a large Salvadorian following that he could develop in LA, he can turn into a major sports figure there.
His opponent tonight is a late replacement for Jose Ocampo, who was the man scheduled to fight Hernandez. But instead tonight, we will see Hernandez fighting Carlos Nicholas Marquez. And there he is, across the way. And Carlos looks in pretty good shape for a guy who's came here on a day's notice.
He was going to be fighting at the end of the month. He said what was funny about him was that he said he thought he was coming in to fight Genaro Chicanito Hernandez.
Welcome to the beautiful Caesars Tahoe Hotel and Casino. Forum Boxing, in association with Caesars Tahoe and Budweiser, the king of beers, are proud to present a night of World Championship Boxing. At this time, we would like to welcome our viewers watching Fight Night on Kcal Channel 9 and Prime. Ladies and gentlemen, this match is scheduled for 8 rounds in the lightweight division. Our referee is Victor Draculich. Introducing first in the blue corner, this young man is from Tijuana, Mexico. He weighs 138 pounds with a record of 14 wins, 7 losses, 3 draws, with 7 wins by knockout. Here is Carlos Nicholas Marquez. Introducing now in the red corner, this young man hails from Bellflower, California. He weighs 133 pounds. He is undefeated with a record of 17 wins, 1 draw, with 9 big wins by knockout. Please welcome Carlos Famous Hernandez.
All right, gentlemen, you've received your instructions in the dressing room. Are there any questions? Any questions from the Chief Seconds? All right, remember, gentlemen, obey my commands, protect yourselves at all times. Touch them up now, let's get to it. Get that top.
All right, Doug Krikorian, let's take a look at how they stack up in the numbers.
Very unusual in a lighter division like this where one man outweighs the other by 5 pounds. But that's the only advantage Mr. Marquez has, in as much as he hasn't won a fight since February of 1989.
The bout under the jurisdiction of the Nevada rules, a 10-point must system in effect. The 3 knockdown rule is not in effect. No standing 8 count. A fighter can be saved by the bell in the last round only, and only the referee can stop the fight. So we're ready for action. Victor Draculich calls them into the middle of the ring, and here we go into round 1. Famous Hernandez in the gold trunks. Carlos Marquez in the pink. Rich Murata, Doug Krikorian, and Fernando Paramo ringside.
Marquez has fought only once this year. He was beaten in February.
Led by Roger Turner, a pretty good fighter in his own right, a former NABF champion, so nothing to be ashamed of in that regard. Fernando, you were mentioning that Marquez actually thought he was coming up here to fight Genaro Hernandez.
Yeah, he said he was glad to realize that it was Famous Hernandez that he was fighting. I guess that's like the guy's going to be shot, and he says, well, one of those in the firing squad doesn't have a real bullet.
One wonders how inspired Famous is going to be tonight, in as much as this is such a late replacement as an opponent.
Hernandez had a draw in his opening fight of his career and then has reeled off 17 consecutive fights. He is known as a slow starter. We've seen him at the Forum on a number of occasions in Los Angeles, and he started slowly. His 9 knockouts usually coming by way of wearing an opponent down, although his last one, he just overwhelmed Tommy Valdez in 2 rounds in a very impressive performance.
Oh, Valdez, this guy is trying to avenge Valdez's loss. He's also from Tijuana, and he says that he's ready to fight.
Watch your head. Watch your head.
Marquez is 29 years of age. Big and strong. He's gone up to as much as 150 pounds. Enters this ring at 138.
Very unusual, Rich, to see that 5-pound difference.
Well, he claims that he ate on the plane. He ate when he got here. He thought the weigh-in was today. He didn't realize that the weigh-in had been last night.
Good combination by Famous Hernandez. He dug that left hand to the body.
Marquez is very willing so far.
Yeah, tremendous amateur record of 43-1, pretty decent.
Let's go.
Why hasn't he won a fight since 1989, Rich?
Well, he came up to the States and was fighting under another manager. He went back to his original manager, Pedro Moran, which held him to a 9-0 start in Tijuana before coming into the States. And he claims that he has never been down. He's been stopped, but never been down.
Hernandez beginning to get that jab working to some effect. And that'll help open things up for him.
I think that's a claim that's going to end tonight.
Famous moving forward, beginning to get things together. And Hernandez seemed to get it cranked up pretty good in the last 30 seconds of the round. As we go back to the corner now with Carlos Famous Hernandez.
Don't make that a hard fight on yourself.
And we'll listen to Jackie McCoy.
Hot there's the bucket. Right here. That's a big bucket.
Jackie McCoy, a great trainer and manager of many world champions in his magnificent career.
Two legends here tonight, Jackie McCoy, and of course, Angel Dundee will be working later on with Arthur Flash Johnson.
All right, Fernando, let's take a look at some of that action late in round one.
Well, it just seems that Hernandez a little bit faster, a little bit sharper with his punches. And right now, you know, he was ready to fight. The other guy wasn't ready to fight until the end of the month, so that might affect him a bit.
If you've got a good memory, you might remember Marquez, who fought at the Forum a couple of times. Last time he fought there, though, was 1989. He KO'd Jorge Garcia in 2 rounds. Round 2. And really, I think Marquez looks to be in pretty good condition. Now, surprising when he was called up, you know, he hasn't fought much, as Doug mentioned, only once this year. Called up late notice to come up here and fight, and he looks like he's in pretty good shape.
He apparently went soul searching again with his manager, with his first manager. They decided that they wanted another shot at coming back into boxing, and this is it. You know, what a start, huh?
Pretty good right hand from Marquez, backing off. Marquez clearly has some skills, and so Hernandez is tested here tonight because, in addition to everything, he's fighting a guy who weighs more than him, probably a little bit stronger than he is, and a guy who's used to fighting bigger people than Carlos Famous Hernandez.
And faster people also.
Marquez has some blood dripping down from his nose, Rich, already. He also has a very colorful tattoo on his back, which is... Seems a lot of athletes have tattoos these days.
It's all the trend now, huh?
It really is. I see all the football players have it on their arms.
It hasn't gotten to the announcers yet, I hope.
Not yet.
In fact, it's a very attractive woman on his back, the tattoo.
And Marquez working very effectively here with several body shots, and then he brought up a right uppercut. The Forum boxing, especially the fights that it has promoted at the Forum, has become known as the house of upsets down through the years. Chiquita Gonzalez, who we'll see later on, of course, a victim himself of one of a string of amazing upsets that have taken place. And Marquez would like to spring one here on Famous Hernandez in this fight.
Until this last little volley by Hernandez, he hasn't been in this fight. I don't think he's very inspired for this guy.
But as I mentioned, though, Doug, he is a slow starter, and he does pick up steam. It's really not surprising to see him start like this. He usually picks up steam around round 3 or 4.
You wonder about Marquez's durability as the fight goes on, Rich. When you get called on 24-hour notice, you're usually not in peak condition.
I think another thing that's going to affect his performance is the altitude. He wasn't training at this altitude as opposed to Hernandez, who was.
7,000 feet here in Lake Tahoe. Beautiful Lake Tahoe.
Come on, punch out. Hands.
Vic Draculich, the referee. You can hear him with his instructions. As we're coming now to the end of round 2. So stay with us on Fight Night. Round 3 coming up.
He was just like any other little boy.
Carlos Famous Hernandez, screen left in the gold trunks. His opponent tonight, Carlos Nicholas Marquez, in the pink trunks. And Doug Jackie McCoy had some interesting instructions between rounds to Carlos.
He didn't exactly have a flattering assessment of Carlos Marquez's boxing abilities. He told Famous he can't box a lick.
And he told Famous to box more himself. Ooh, those are pretty good body shots.
They certainly are.
Marquez backing away. It's unusual a fighter can land power shots as he's backing off, but Marquez able to do it, at least to the body.
They told him to pick his punches, really put power behind his punches, and go at him.
Marquez is the ultimate underdog, the Rocky underdog. What does he have to lose? Nothing. Okay. Hernandez so far just doesn't, I say it once again, he's not inspired. He doesn't sustain his attack. I don't think he's taking this guy too seriously, and as the fight goes on, Marquez might get that confidence needed for a major upset.
But again, as you mentioned, conditioning, I think also a big question. I thought he was sucking air pretty heavy in the corner. He just took a right uppercut there from Famous Hernandez. Carlos Famous Hernandez received his nickname from not boxing, but from his, told by Vic Draculich to keep his punches up was Hernandez. But as a child, as kind of a bully, I guess, in the neighborhood. Right, he used to kind of beat up some of the little kids around the neighborhood, and they'd all come and complain to his grandfather, who told him, I guess you're going to be famous, or you're already becoming famous, and it stuck.
Marquez said that he's been in several fights down in Tijuana. He says, well, might as well get paid for them. So that's why he's here.
Good right hand by Hernandez inside. Short right hand.
Let's go. Back it up.
Carlos Hernandez, of course, has attended Cerritos College, where he wants to get involved in sports medicine eventually.
Now Carlos picking it up. Backs Marquez into Marquez's own corner.
Go the ropes. Go the ropes. Let's go.
Hernandez is doing what he has to. Just start going for the body, take the legs away, the little legs that he has left, and try to go for the kill.
They're going the inside.
Ooh, this is good stuff inside. Down goes Marquez from a right hand. Excellent exchange, and then Hernandez landed the big shot.
Very good right hand there.
8, 9.
I will be surprised if he could make it.
He can't. He sat there for the count of 10, and Carlos Famous Hernandez, in the midst of a terrific exchange between the two, came home with the home run punch.
Well, they had told the opponent to really put power behind the punches, but it was Hernandez who went all out, started working the body, hit him 4 or 5 times, went up to the hip, was able to connect, and down win for the first time in his career. And Doug was right. He said that he thought that it would end at this point in the day.
All right, we will be back to hear the official numbers on this fight, which resulted in a knockout in 3 rounds for Carlos Famous Hernandez. And we've just seen Carlos Famous Hernandez run his record to 18-0-1, and he did it with a knockout in round number 3 of Carlos Nicholas Marquez. There's Famous, the winner. Let's take a look at some of that action now in round 3. Fernando came right in the midst of a big exchange between the two.
Well, Marquez had said that what he wanted to do was to give a good account of himself. I think he did, but just everything was against him, like you had said at the beginning. And here is Hernandez going all out and finishing him off.
At the end there, you could see that Famous was landing his shots cleanly. Watch the right hand there. That stunned him. Boom. There's the big one, and down went Marquez, and down for the count. All right, we will, as we take a look now from another angle, in close. This was a good exchange. Marquez was trying to answer back to the body, but then it was just too much by Famous.
that was the shot that did it. When they hit him underneath, right to the liver, that was the shot that really finished him up.
All right, let's get the numbers now from Jim Hall, our ring announcer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this bout ends at 2 minutes and 43 seconds of the third round. Winner by knockout and still undefeated, Carlos Famous Hernandez.
So Carlos Hernandez gets his 18th victory. That's 18 wins in a row after a draw in the opening bout of his professional career. And pretty good showing, really, by Carlos Marquez until he caught that shot. His last couple of rights. Now we're going to hear from Famous Hernandez, who's standing by with Doug Krikorian. Let's go up to Doug now.
Yeah, Carlos, you got off to your usual slow start. Then at the end of the second round, the great Jackie McCoy says to you, the guy can't fight a lick. And then the third round, you land that right hand. Tell us what happened.
Well, I was just, I needed to get off. You know, I was a little slow getting off. I wasn't really, I don't know, I was just really, I guess wasn't warmed up as well as I should have been, but thank God everything worked out, as you can see.
Were you inspired for this fight, considering he hadn't won a fight in 4 years?
Yeah, well, I didn't know who I was fighting exactly. I was just so confused. I thought I was fighting Ocampo, and then I thought I was fighting some other guy, so I just really wasn't prepared.
Okay, we're going to go to a replay right now. Tell us what happened right before the knockout.
Well, I was just trying to connect with the left hook to the body because that's one of my favorite shots, and I just couldn't get that shot off, and when I finally did, it connected and it worked, thank God, as you can see.
There he is, Carlos Famous Hernandez, who has the glare going pretty strong right now. Right behind him, a legendary manager and trainer in his own right.